Good respiratory chemistry and mechanics set the stage for embracement rather than defensiveness as a life posture. Wellness is ultimately about embracing, about the heart, about bringing together the mindfulness of physiology with the personal consciousness. Health is about seeking, presence, and availability, not about ego and defensiveness. This is a quote from Friedolf Capra in his book, The Web of Life, published in 1996. Those of us who work at sedentary occupations may suffer a whole range of health problems, including but not limited to low back pain, headaches, hemorrhoids, stomach and intestinal maladies, and congested sinuses, as well as other respiratory complications. When we sit for hours, hunched over, our neck is strained, our legs are cramped, this can definitely discourage the easy flow of oxygen into the lungs. The result is a blockage in our energy flow through the body. The consequences are that we tire easily, we start to feel brain fog, and we may soon lose interest in the tasks at hand. We think that what we need is a timeout for a coffee break, but really what we need is more oxygen. Many of us move through life and physical activity without considering our breath. We involuntarily inhale and exhale throughout the course of our day without really considering the action itself. The pace of our breath may increase as we engage in physical activity or participate in sports, and decrease as we relax with friends or prepare for sleep. We rarely stop to consider the physiological response of what is actually going on in our body or the emotional impact of our breath. Studies have shown that breathing techniques and patterns can deeply influence stress, our psychophysiological states, and also organ function. The regulation and dysregulation of the breath can be affected and controlled by the breathing rate, the breathing rhythm, and even the location where the breath occurs within the body. Disruption of the balance in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system has a reciprocal relationship with the breath. In a study published by Peter Litchfield, PhD, in California Biofeedback, he summarizes the actions of breath with the following definitions. Respiration is a form of self-regulatory behavior that transports oxygen to each and every tissue in the body and transports carbon dioxide from the cells to the outside air. Breathing is the use of the lungs to move oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases to and or from the blood. Breathing mechanics refers to breathing rhythm, holding, gasping, sighing, breathing rate, fast or slow, breathing depth, deep or shallow, the location of the breath, the chest, the diaphragm, and also any accessory muscle activity. It's important to understand that the way we breathe affects the chemistry of the body and the chemistry of the blood. To greatly simplify the process, we can remember that we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged between the blood and the air. Oxygen moves into the blood and results in the production of carbon dioxide, which must be removed. The red blood cells upload the oxygen and unload the carbon dioxide. During healthy respiration, the body regulates the oxygen-carbon dioxide balance based on the metabolic demands or activity levels of the body. When we are exercising or breathing heavily, the body needs more energy and the tissues consume more oxygen than they do at rest. Consuming more oxygen also means we produce more carbon dioxide. The oxygen-carbon dioxide balance in the body is vital to normal function. A low level of carbon dioxide in the blood is the most common form of imbalance and will lead to reduced oxygen reaching the tissues of the body. This condition is most often created by hyperventilation, or what we call overbreathing. Overbreathing is the most serious form of breathing deregulation. This condition is brought on when the individual is breathing more quickly than is necessary. This causes a carbon dioxide deficit in the blood. Overbreathing can be defined as creating a carbon dioxide deficit in the blood with increased respiration, or rapid breathing, which can result in short-term and long-term symptoms. Changes in the body due to slight shifts in carbon dioxide chemistry may include gut constriction, calcium imbalance, magnesium deficiency, muscle fatigue, spasm, and pain. It's important to remember that these over-breathing patterns may be an unconscious habit and may not be readily detectable. They may occur at stressful times of day, during times of defensiveness and emotionality, or during information overload. In other words, it would make sense to breathe heavily if one were going out for a run or other workout, but if it would not make sense to breathe quickly if one were involved in a heated phone call or working to meet a deadline at their desk. Many individuals overbreathe with little provocation and may do so all day long without knowing it. We can think about control over the breath as a way to control the central nervous system and therefore the other systems of the body. It is critical to regulate the function of the central nervous system for stress control. Improved stress response can greatly improve psycho-emotional health and create an anti-inflammatory response within the body directly attributed to breathing practice. We can see below some of the over-breathing effects on our health. Shortness of breath, breathlessness, chest tightness and pressure, chest pain, feelings of suffocation, heart palpitations, irregular heartbeat, anxiety, dizzy, lightheaded, fainting, confusion, disorientation, attention deficit, poor thinking, poor concentration, impaired judgment, problem-solving deficit, abdominal cramps and bloating. Research shows that up to 60% of all ambulance calls in major U.S. cities are a result of overbreathing. If we think about what we saw on the previous slides, some of the symptoms that occur from overbreathing include shortness of breath, chest tightness and pressure, chest pain, feelings of suffocation, heart palpitations. It sounds exactly like a heart attack. We also know that 10 to 25% of the U.S. population suffers from chronic overbreathing, and over 50% overbreathe on frequent occasion. Studies have shown that proper breathing greatly impacts cognitive skills. The oxygen deficit created by overbreathing can result in impaired decision-making, decreased perceptual motor skills, decreased information processing, decreased problem-solving, decreased memory, and decreased ability to complete tasks. The New England Journal of Medicine published a study correlating the significant impact of overbreathing and the decreased need for sedatives due to the dramatic impact on cerebral blood flow and blood volume. Task-induced overbreathing, or creating an oxygen-carbon dioxide imbalance, can contribute to the degradation of human performance as well as increase attention difficulties in children and adults. Improper breathing patterns can also significantly affect one's emotions. Apprehension, anxiety, anger, frustration, fear, panic, and stress can be increased due to carbon dioxide-oxygen imbalance. When we are more conscious of our breath, we are able to express our emotions more appropriately. Emotional states of disinhibition may occur, meaning that emotions otherwise controlled may be magnified. The emotional deficits may contribute to the disruption of cognitive deficits. In addition to the cognitive and emotional effects, dysregulated breathing can also contribute to reduced physical endurance. When the carbon dioxide that is exhaled during activity is consistent with the requirements of the body, the oxygen-carbon dioxide will remain balanced. However, if a person is overbreathing constantly throughout the day, the buffering systems of the body are dysregulated, and fatigue may set in much earlier than it normally would, leading to decreased performance. Therapeutic breathing practice can eliminate the effects of overbreathing and dysregulated breathing. There is a direct effect on the process of controlled breathing in shifting the nervous system away from its excitatory state. So we can use breath control or breath awareness as a relaxation strategy. Respiratory training can improve memory, enhance thinking and problem-solving skills, improve concentration, attention training, reduce anxiety, manage stress, manage anger, decrease fatigue, increase mental alertness, facilitate meditation, and maximize performance. So we can use different breathing techniques to create the response we are looking for. For example, we could use a diaphragmatic breath to release unnecessary distress. Sometimes we may notice ourselves becoming stressed or distracted in our daily lives. If we feel our breathing change during activities such as playing video games, prior to giving a presentation, walking into a test, sitting in traffic, arguing with a friend or family member, an easy breathing technique to regulate our breath and regulate our physical state may be to inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6. Let the inhale remind you to open yourself to positive energy, to your present moment, and let your exhale rid yourself of any anxiety or stress that you may be feeling. Breathing in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeating this breathing pattern as many times as you may need to, stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, allowing your body to relax. We can conclude our study of breathing and respiratory training with a few key points. There is no specific breathing protocol that is the right one. Breathing is a complex behavior. It's both voluntary and involuntary. Breathing is greatly influenced by emotion. Breath awareness encourages us to live in the present moment. Breathing has the potential to offer relief for physical healing, sadness, depression. And we can remember that exercise can be beneficial to our health because it allows us to breathe more fully. We can consider some of these points as we move into an experiential breathing practice.